Hello, hello, everybody. We're back again, and on today's episode, we're talking about covert persuasion, in particular how it relates to sales in the seminar space and within experts who are selling goods and services. So, Nick.
Yes.
Covert persuasion. Where do we begin on this topic? It's such a...
It's a big topic. So where do we begin? I guess we'll begin with how do you grab someone's attention, because that's where it starts. And one of the actually, I'll let you read the one-line persuasion sentence.
What's that? Can you actually? I'll let you put up one you found before. People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies.
And that's basically, I think it was written by Blair Warren, if I'm not mistaken. And he wrote a book called The Forbidden Keys to Persuasion, which I think is a must-read. If you're going to read just one book on the topic, then that's the one to read, because he really goes into the practicalities of persuasion. There's a lot of pop psychology stuff out there where, you do this and you'll get that, and that sort of kind of dumbs it down a bit too much, while he goes into the more in-depth part of persuasion and how to use it. So I guess for the purposes of sales and how do we get more sales, or in the sales and marketing application, is essentially those things applied in sales and marketing. So I
just want to make a distinction here. I think oftentimes you'll hear people talk about seminar sales and they're finding them sleazy or that kind of stuff. I think really good sales, you don't know you're being persuaded.
That's correct. It doesn't. Yeah, you're actually welcome to sleaze. I don't want to welcome the sleaze, but it's so slick that you've bought into the overall message, or the way it's being done is it doesn't feel high pressure at all, where you kind of willingly run into the back of the room to give your credit card or throw your credit card.
Well, let's talk about that.
Let's talk
about that specifically. Let's talk about the environment you want to set up, I think, before you even get anyone into the room.
Yeah, okay. So I suppose if you, for that, in fact, I've worked with one seminar guy recently where we've worked out a strategy to pack up his room. And the way we did it was to create a profiling tool, actually, where people went through and self-assessed themselves around the capability I think it was in the social media or marketing or some space related to that. And then there was basically created a chart out of it where people now could see their scores on various factors that were relevant for success in a specific market or about a specific topic. And that was then basically used to create marketing messages where they, justified their failure and allay their fears and confirm their suspicions. I guess there was no enemy as such, but the enemy could be not necessarily an external enemy, but an internal one as well. So so from a seminar perspective, or from any sales perspective, it doesn't have to be limited to seminars.
It's presentations in general, but seminars has more of that visceral feel to it.
Yeah, it's the frame, like the probably the biggest takeaway I've gained from after reading quite a lot of this stuff and having done quite a few courses in the topic about the topic, I should say, is the frame that you create through which you're going to project the message. So recently I read about a covert persuasion, if you can call it that was done to, I believe it was the executive team or the management team for Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, where this company was trying to sell them and some sort of automated or AI-based telephone room service tool or technology, because what they're finding is that most of the calls that goes to housekeeping is bring me a towel or bring me a, kind of like I can't turn my AC on or I can't turn my shower on or something of that sort. And so they're trying to eliminate that cost where where first it was annoying for customers, and secondly, it consumed too much human time. So they were like, well, and so the product was designed to serve that need, where you could just text or have an automated system, and then the order would just go out to someone to come and bring the towel to you. But how do you convince an executive team when you're a new technology company? So what they did was they ran, I believe it was LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads. I can't remember which platform they used. But through the targeting, that was provided by these platforms, they were able to show articles, so just content, around the benefits of using technology to help your business. So it wasn't about about the room service technology. It was about the broad technology, and it's, I guess you could call it inception marketing, where they were in your head without you realizing they were in your head, because it looked like just content.
Did they market under their own brand, or did they market under?
No, it was marketed as just articles. I believe it was. I looked at it some time ago now. So, and that when I saw that example, I was like, you know what, that is covert persuasion at its best, because you're not even, like, you think you're reading an article, but you're not. There's no advertorial sign on that, you know. It's just and you just didn't run into it.
You don't feel like you're being persuaded. You feel like you're coming to your own conclusion.
Correct, and that's what they did. They made the executive team, or they allowed the executive to reach their own conclusion that this new tech stuff could potentially result in a lot of business benefits for us.
I guess that comes to the core of what this is. The human mind is susceptible to influence.
Absolutely, yeah. It just has to be, because it's a survival mechanism, right? Yeah. If you shut, and I suppose the number one ingredient is something that is incongruent. That's what gets our attention, because and I don't know if this, I've heard this explanation. I don't know if that's true or not, which is essentially because it's a survival thing, where you're out in the, I guess a couple of thousand years ago, and you're making sure you don't get eaten by a tiger or something. And so you're looking for stuff or things that look out of place, grabs our attention even if we don't want it. So one way to be covert is to create stuff that looks out of the ordinary, or is purposefully made weird, or incongruent, I should say. And as a result, that's what gets the attention. So in this case, I guess what these guys had done was back to the Caesar's Palace scenario, where they created a whole bunch of content information around the use of new technology, and that is the idea they wanted to plant into their head first, is the acceptance that technology can be a competitive edge, before the outreach program was kicked in, where they were like, yeah, of course, cool, yeah, I've been reading a lot about this topic recently, and the thing was, they weren't reading about it. It was planted in their head, for lack of a better word to put it. Yeah, it's the exposure. They were exposed to it first before the direct approach was made. Because they were so separate in terms of the pre-frame that was created in your head before the actual delivery of the message was done, as in the sales message, they appeared to the infected, if you can call it that, to be unrelated, but it actually was. And I guess that's what we're seeing with all this fake news stuff recently.
Darren Brown was taking a lighter, hard approach to it. Darren Brown in his magic shows talks about how he'll embed the numbers into people's mind through their journey before they come to the thing where he's able to guess what that person will think.
Yeah. Have you seen The Heist?
I think
yeah, because that's if someone wants to, if most people are quite skeptical that any of this stuff works. Well, if you are, watch The Heist. Now, granted, they were he'd already pre-selected the group of people who are highly susceptible. Otherwise there would be no show. But to think that he was able to get a group of people who actually conducted I think it's the bank robbery. He was able to convince people to go rob a bank. It was a controlled environment, of course, but to program that much that you can convince people to go rob a bank. I think that was the whole show was about the heist, and he documents the journey of how he goes about doing it. It's really quite eye opening if you haven't been exposed to this stuff, and that, I guess, is an extreme version. It's for TV, obviously. It's to make it.
I think it's valid in many points. We see this in certain scenarios in society as well. They're talking about how people are being brainwashed, how you're doing this stuff, and etc. I think having a degree of awareness around what's going around you is what the point is, and also understanding how you can persuade in a way that makes people feel good.
Yeah. So I guess if you didn't know any persuasion and you went to let's say a Tony Robbins event or a event where the event itself is a big sales tool for the $10,000 coaching program or whatever comes behind it. If you didn't know any persuasion stuff, then you'd think that was just a natural conclusion. I just need to go buy more stuff. But once you become aware of the covert persuasion tools that are available out there, and then you end up at one of these seminars, you'll have a very different experience of what this is, because you can actually see the
altering of states and what they're doing.
Correct. Yeah. It's just.
Let's get into that. Yeah. What are some of these altering states? I know there's trance-like music. There's kind of chains, etc. But it's
correct. Yeah. So it's. I suppose the main goal of this is to plant compliance. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just compliance, and so over the 3-day event or 2-day event or whatever event, they end up taking you through a whole lot of activities, actions, music, all that stuff with the singular purpose of getting you to take action. And if you can see how beautifully layered that is, because
I just want to preface this. Tony Robbins is probably one of the best guys at this stuff. His skills are really good, and there's a lot of good about it. But just it's interesting to know the
correct. Yeah. So we're not talking about the
event itself. It's more the techniques that are being used at the events. So.
Correct. But because he's such a master at it.
He's master at it. People feel amazing about it.
Yeah, we're not here to morally judge anybody's what someone does. At the end of the day, we're all persuaders. I mean, you want to ask someone to marry you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what? You're obviously selling. Otherwise they wouldn't necessarily say yes. So we do that every day of the week. So it's not. I guess just to preface all of this is that we are all persuaders at some level. You go to a job interview, you're trying to persuade the other guy to hire you. Or to sell a product at the retail store, or the waitress trying to sell you, the dessert, or whatever it is.
The doctor persuading you to take the surgery if you need it.
Correct. Yeah. So we're not here to judge whether it's good or bad. We're merely talking about
analysis of techniques that are being used.
Correct. Because that's essentially is what this podcast is about, which is the applications of this in the real world. Whether you choose to apply it or not, that's up to each individual. Like everybody's. We're not here to force your moral compass in a particular direction. If this is not comfortable, don't use it. In this case, you use it to protect yourself when it is being applied to you. And I guess that's where we'll stop about the moral implications of all this. Yeah.
Moving right along with actual techniques. Compliance. So a lot of this about issuing compliance. So I think initially you're asking for people to say yes to a small ask, but once they do that, so let's take this back to some world, getting people to say yes. So are you excited? Yes. Are you something? Yes. Are you willing to do what it takes to get result? Yes.
No, that's okay. So that's a little bit, I guess, obvious and overt, right? The other one they use is high five the guy next to you. So that's once again a command.
High five the guy next to you, rub the guy's shoulders.
Yeah, right. That so over the 3-4 day period, they implant quite a few things. In fact, the best summary that I've seen of this is actually Mark Joyner's book called. The name escapes me.
Anyway, Mark Joyner's book. If you guys go Google it, I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
Okay, all right, okay. And so where he covers the 11 techniques of persuasion. I think there are 11. For example, reciprocity. Cialdini or Cialdini, however you say that, is the other one who's covered six of those. Reciprocity, social proof, all that stuff. So when you spoke about
and Persuasion are the two big books on this topic.
Correct. Yeah,
and
that's right.
NLP NLP techniques, which is used by a lot of seminar guys through Robert Bandler. I think Henry Cleveland's one of the other guys who are really good at applying this in a business context.
Correct. In the application sense, yes. Yeah, the applied persuasion for sales and marketing. All right. So where were we?
Talking about seminars and what kind of techniques you use. We're talking about compliance is one of the things. So yes, trains.
Yeah, well, that's the basis of all of this is to essentially get you into a state where you're highly suggestible to whatever to whatever the next process is or step is in the sales process, which normally is to upsell someone through to some other course or program behind the scenes. So I suppose the that's the main one that is used essentially is compliance. I guess we could come up with a list of other things. The other main one that I've seen being used is actually where they get you to buy something small, and then you upsell people to something big.
I think that's often used in marketing as well. If you buy some small item, it's easier to upsell at that point.
Correct. Yeah. So, but you know what? I guess from a sales and marketing standpoint is how do you create? And then the other one is obviously things like open loops. Which is you start an idea, and then you don't finish it. You move on to the next one, and so the brain is still focused on the previous one. I saw a great demonstration of that.
Social proofing is, I think, a couple of the techniques we hear that we'll talk about. It's social proofing. Like if you go to any of these seminars, any of these people who are doing presentations, they'll social proof either with testimonials or talking about the people they've worked with. So going back to Tony Robbins, because he's so brilliant at this, talks about the presidents, the celebrities and stuff. He constantly name drops throughout his presentation, but he tries to do it with subtlety. But if you're listening to it, you'll kind of realize that that's...
Yeah, I've only seen videos on YouTube. I've never been to a live event, so I can't... but that is one way of doing it. I mean, that's the whole point of, where people posting photos where they're with other famous people, as a way you transfer value to you.
Trust transference,
Yeah, correct. It's the
if you're seen with other people they trust and admire, trust and respect, a certain aspect of that trust, admire, and respect can be passed on to the person that's presenting.
With them. Correct, with them, yeah. And I guess if someone, I guess it's the whole cool kids thing. If they're all cool and you hang out with cool, so therefore you're cool.
Part of the conversation that we're having with Trevor the other day on that thread. Why do people do podcasts? Why do people surround themselves by others?
Correct.
Part of that would be a trust transference.
Yeah, it's there. In fact, I saw a presentation by someone who grew his list to about 1 million followers on, I think it was Instagram or Snapchat, I can't remember which one, where the big strategy was to constantly go out and find people who had some credibility or had some following, and essentially to borrow their credibility by just grabbing photographs and things of that sort and then posting them onto the various social media platforms. And that's how it was the primary strategy or one of the main strategies that he used to grow a really big list, list of followers. So I suppose if you could boil it down, it all boils down to just a handful of techniques that are applied over and over again. What generally fails is that most people don't apply it consistently, and I think
well, it also depends on what kind of appeal you're looking for. I think we talked about this with if you're looking for fast cars, there's a certain type of audience to attract. If you've got books, a certain type of audience to attract.
That's correct. Yeah, like the way that you've got books sitting behind you.
It's also visual. It makes me a lot smarter than I am.
and clearly I'm doing the opposite with my blank wall. So yeah. So I guess that's the the way to proceed from here. I guess for most people would be to educate yourself on the techniques that are available out there. Influence is a good book. Blair Warren's book, Forbidden Keys to Persuasion. That's also, I think, required reading on this topic. And then maybe a live event as well.
Things like NLP Essential Guide and Bandler's books.
They're actually not bad books as well. In fact, Dave Jennings and I, when we went to a 7-day course with Richard Bandler, which was quite interesting. And over time, if you're looking for practical applications, then things like how do you apply the 6 principles that you see in the book Influence is a good way to start training yourself to be aware or to start using these techniques if you want to.
Those are the ones like the body language books are really good for this kind of stuff, and body language and assuming control of conversation. Just assume that you're going to be able to direct the conversation is a big part of taking the leadership in your calls, in your interactions.
Yeah, the techniques used by most closers, the assumptive sale, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So
in business, if you're starting, go get a sales job. That's probably the best advice I've heard people say.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So I guess I don't know. What are the next steps for us? Or what's our next topic?
Next topic. I don't know what the next topic would be. Guys, why don't you chime in the comments? Let us know what you think we should talk about next. Otherwise, we'll create something in between now and the next video. Unless you can think of anything, Nick.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we'll head back into this is based on one of the forum posts that we saw about how do you start analyzing your business.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the starting point?
Is this the one that was about the accounting and stuff?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. It was because I thought it was obvious, but based on the question that was asked and the responses that were there, I didn't think. Well, maybe it's not as common as assumed.
Let's give a bit more context around what was that question before we.
The question was about we're growing I think it was a manufacturing or distribution business.
Manufacturing business.
How do I? Who am I going to hire to help me work out where we're making money in the business?
Yeah, I think
essentially it was around recruitment.
It was around numbers and recruitment.
Correct. Yeah, to help me with the numbers.
Yeah. He knew the numbers he didn't understand the numbers in his business, but he didn't know how to get the right person to help analysing the business numbers. So they've grown a fair bit, but they don't know what's making money and what's driving those results.
I guess sharpening the saw with respect to understanding a bit more, and so we can kind of talk about that at the next one.
Perfect. All right, guys. Until next time, hope you all have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Done. Thank you.